want you to come close when I say this. I want you to come close. Nobody is going to care about your project more than you. Hi, my name is Shania Banton, and I have been a filmmaker for the past 11 years. And as of the past 3 years, I've been a full-time director, writer, and producer. For today's OnSet talk, I do want to talk about things I wish I knew when I first started as a filmmaker. To give you a bit more context, I do come from the 9 to 5, 5 to 9 world, meaning for a majority of my professional career, I have worked in corporate and or if we want to talk about college, high school, luxury retail. I've always been a filmmaker pursuing filmmaking for my 5 to 9. So I've learned quite a lot. I actually started out funding my own projects. I did a lot of research. No, I did not go to film school. I'm not one of those, but I am still an auteur. I did study film and media as my minor at FIT. Woo woo, shout out to FIT. There's just a lot that I learned along the way, and I just felt like it's time to share that. A lot of people are starting out. Filmmaking didn't stop when I started, if that makes sense. The first thing I wish I knew when starting out as a filmmaker, and I want you to come close when I say this. I want you to come close. Nobody is going to care about your project more than you. Nobody should care about your project more than you. When it comes down to having a project, I understand it could get overwhelming. And people talk about all the time networking across. Yes, network across, but also understand that everybody has lives. And not only do they have lives, they're also pursuing their own dreams. So just because you have your dream that you're so excited about and you bring people together to also be excited about this dream, it does not mean that their care level is just going to jump up to where yours is at. This is your dream. This is your project. You should be the strongest advocate on your team. Do not expect anybody to care about your project more than you. Do not expect anybody to work harder on your project more than you. If that is happening, you may or may not run into some issues down the line. I don't know. I've only been there a few times. Those issues look like you having these expectations that aren't getting met, and now you're disappointed, and now you want to give up, and now you feel like no one supports you. But that honestly isn't true. They do support you. They support you to the capacity in which they care, and that is completely okay. You need to care about your project the most. You need to set the precedent of, I'm going to bust my behind for this project, and I'm hoping that you other filmmakers who are joining me in this process, whether you're the producer, whether you're the director, whether you're the production designer, whatever role you're playing in this project, I hope that you take it seriously, because they can take it seriously and still not care as much as you. For them, it'll still just be a job, another opportunity, practice even. But ultimately, when you remove this narrative of everybody should be coming with the same level that I'm coming at, when you remove that, you set yourself up way better, because you're not gonna be as disappointed as you may get. So just having that general human grace-filled understanding of nobody's going to care about your project more than you will set everything up for the better. The second thing that I wish I knew when first starting out in filmmaking was to take every project as an opportunity to learn every aspect of filmmaking. When I first started out, I knew I wanted to direct and write. I didn't necessarily want to produce. Was I thrown into producing? Yes, because it's your first project. You always kind of end up producing it one way or another. So I was kind of thrown into that producing aspect of it. And because I was thrown into it with not the most care of actually learning what it was, it took me longer as a person with experience producing projects to truly understand what it means to produce projects. So follow me here. When I first started, I was producing to the capacity that I can get my own projects done. That same capacity does not work for everybody else's projects. So I was still presenting that, yeah, I know how to produce. I know how to produce my projects. Other people's projects I wasn't prepared for. So I would tell people I know how to produce. They would come to me to be a producer, but I didn't learn all the things that I needed to learn as a producer to produce somebody else's project. I learned everything I needed to produce my own projects, to set my own standard, to set my own expectation of what I was looking for in a project. I didn't take those beginning opportunities of making a project to say, how can I truly become the best producer? Yes, I give myself grace because I was doing a lot with my first projects, and I'm sure you are too. But if you have an opportunity to have a first time where you direct and you want to focus on directing, or a first time to produce and you want to focus on producing, just take every opportunity in your early stages to truly learn what it is to be the best at that job. The third thing that I wish I knew when I first started out in filmmaking was to not be discouraged when you do not get immediate support. We oftentimes, especially as creatives, especially as filmmakers who want to make filmmaking their career, we're like, oh, we have so many friends, we have so many family members. If I was to become a filmmaker, I know I would get all this support. If I start a Kickstarter or any type of crowdfunding, I'm going to get a bunch of donations and people reposting all of these things. Wrong. Your friends and your family, as much as they love you, they are not your audience, sweetheart. Yes, some of them may be, but I promise you they're going to be the first ones to disappoint you. Do not expect that of them. They loved you before you were a filmmaker, and it's tied as filmmaking feels to who you are as a person. Them not supporting you as a filmmaker does not mean that they love you any less. Does it still hurt? Is it still like a little tinge of like, you see me busting my behind on this Kickstarter and you're not going to repost it every single day, 50 times a day, and give me all your money? Yeah, that bothers me. But at the end of the day, they love you for you. They love you for who you are and who you've been to them for the entire duration of whenever you've known them. They don't know how much their support actually means. They don't recognize that all the time. When I first started out, whenever I did a Kickstarter or a crowdfund or Indiegogo, I was always so discouraged every time I noticed friends, best friends, family members, not even like batting an eye at the fact that I was like pouring my passion into something. But that's because, again, they didn't realize how big of a deal it was to me. They didn't realize that this was something I'm like, listen, I need to dedicate my life to this. What they saw was somebody who they loved getting excited about something. And it's not the first time I got excited about something. So my advice is to pour that passion, pour that expectation into the audience that you are building, the people who love you for the filmmaker that you are, the people who met you and are finding out about you for the filmmaker that you are. Because if you start out this career expecting your friends and families to be your audience, you're going to get discouraged and you may just get disappointed. Some people may give up, but I don't think that that's an avenue or something that you should do. I think you should keep going. It is okay. Because at the end of the day, when you make it, guess where they'll be? I don't even gotta say it.